Watson, as you rightly said, I'm an author of the best-selling book, Overcome and Rise Above, How to Turn the Downside of Your Challenges into the Upside of Renewing Your Life. I'm a speaker and I'm a life coach. Mother of three, so always on the go. That's me, to be honest. I love motivating people. I love working with people, and my purpose is just really to empower women and to make women realize that, you know what, you can go through so many different challenges in life, but it doesn't stop you from living your full potential.
You know what? Let me put something to you, okay? To start off with, yeah?
Yes.
Up and down over the last year, probably the last 2-3 years, okay?
Yes.
There's been the rise, I would call it like that, the rise of the female empowerment, right?
Yeah.
And they have been doing some phenomenal works. They're doing some phenomenal works right across the board, self-empowerment courses, business courses, and because they're women-led, they've been very well attended, right?
Yes.
Predominantly, all of them, right across the board. Yeah? What's happening to our men?
You know what it is? There's so much things in society now that is taking away men, and it's becoming a thing where women have come to the point where they realize, you know what, they're seeing other women doing great things and they're rising. I think it's become kind of a thing that men have been used to being on the top, getting things done, and they've kind of relaxed. Whereas women, it's like in the speaking world, you find more men than you find women, and it's become noticed, and women are moving now. But if you look in society, there's so many things that have pulled men away from the position that they should be in, and they've taken more of a back seat. I don't know if it's because we're in what they call a women's country, but I would prefer not to believe so, because it's happening all over the world. Men that used to get up, go to work, start a business, they've been more attracted by what's going on in the world. Men that used to be family men, they're more interested in going out, having 2-3 different girlfriends. So that morale, that focus has really shifted. And I really do feel like we're losing our men.
Okay. And, because you're doing empowering books, you're a motivational speaker, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. What kind of message, right? Okay. Can you say to all our male listeners right now, yeah?
What I would say to all the male listeners, the first thing, look at, you know what, I heard something one day and it really struck me. And I believe it was from T.D. Jakes. And he was talking about emotions, and he was saying what struck him one day is looking at himself in the mirror while he was shaving and watching his son actually emulate what he's doing. And he's looking and seeing himself in his son. And many men need to really look at this, see themselves in their children. And I asked a question one day on Facebook, and I said, if your child should emulate you right now, would you be proud of what they're doing? And I think men need to, they need to look at that. If what you're doing today, if your child was doing it, you would not be happy doing it, then why are you doing it? They're watching you, And the other thing I would say, for the men that are doing good, don't get discouraged by those that are not, because it can be discouraging. I was just speaking to my husband this morning because he went outside. He was very upset. He heard a young boy, swearing at a grown elderly woman. And he went outside and he had to go and speak to the boy and say, what are you doing? And this is just a few minutes ago. This lady, she's a big woman. And you're thinking, where have they seen this from? Where have they been seeing this from? And it's a thing where men are no longer holding that respect that they once had. And it's so, so painful, because the youth of today, they're growing up and they're following that same trend. So what I would say to men, you need to rise up. You need to look in that mirror. And you know what? If what you're seeing looking back at you ain't what it's supposed to be, then you need to do something about it. Because I tell myself all the while, and that's why I started doing what I'm doing, Master Mo, because you know what? I remember saying to my daughter, because she wants to be a lawyer, and she always says to me, I need to go and find an office somewhere where they pay lawyers good money and work for them. And the question I said to her, why not, instead of looking for that place for a job, why not think of growing up and starting your own business? And you know what she said to me? She said, Mom, but you're not doing that. You know what? And it struck me, and I'm like, it's true, because I'm saying something to her, but she's not seeing me doing what I'm saying. Yeah. And that's what many fathers and many men do. They will tell kids one thing or tell the youths one thing, but guess what? They're watching you and they're seeing you doing something totally different. So what I would say to men, you know what? Get up and take back that stand, take back that position that you once were. You know, gain back the respect that you once had, and just look in the mirror and see if you're happy with the reflection that is looking back at you.
Oh, wow. And that is such a powerful statement to start our motivational Wednesday morning with. You know, men need to take a little bit more charge, a little bit more control.
Definitely.
Now, you know, in our society that we have now, okay, as we see it, and the reality is there are lots of single parents, right?
Yeah.
And the cause of that single parenting is not by design. It is not an accident. The parents themselves, the two people themselves, has to have a disagreement for them to go their separate ways. That's fine. Everybody's life carries a different journey, right? But if they have a child, you've already got a journey that you can't come off.
Yes.
You know.
You know what, Massimo? It's funny that you should say that, because I did a presentation the other day, and the statement that I made, it really, really resonated with a lot of people. You know what? Your life is a book. You are given empty pages. And what you do every day, what you say, fills those pages. The unfortunate fact is that once you've written in that book, you can't go back and tear the pages out. As much as you would love to, you can't go back and erase those stuff. But what you can do, and what you have the power to do and the ability to do, is decide what is going to be written in the next chapter. What's going to be written on the next page. You know, for a period of time, I was a single parent. And I got up and I did all the things that I normally do, you know. Like at the moment, I'm looking to go into job centers and speak, because there's so many people that are saying they can't do this because they're a single parent. You know, it was a while before my husband that I'm with now was with me, and I was a single parent, and I would be getting up, doing my shift work, writing my book, doing all kind of stuff, and people would be like, "Where do you get the time from?"
You know what? Okay, you know what? Let me put something to you. Okay,
yes.
Let me put something to you. Probably I should start doing a lot more talks. Probably, yeah.
Yes.
Because I use this term, right, and people get angry with me. Okay. There is no parent out there that's single.
It's true, because it takes a village. It takes a village to...
You know, but it's not even, you know what, because I say this to men, right, as well as women, who turn around and say, I'm a single parent. And I say to them, no, you're not, because you did not parent that child by yourself. There was a man there.
Yes.
Okay? So you're not single. That child is not a single parent child. Okay? You might have the charge of responsibility to look after that child in your care, but there's two of you there, not unless the parent is dead.
Well, that's true. If you're going to look at in the biological fact.
Yeah.
Yes.
So let's stop looking at it as if we are single parents, because we are not. Yeah? You have care of that child. There is the father or there is the mother.
Well, that's the thing. The major word there is going to be parent. That's the major thing.
In people's mind, when they start saying I'm a single parent, yeah, it puts a mindset to them as if one or the other of the parent is never there, is not there, or is missing, or you had that child by yourself. You did not.
Well, you know what, in Jamaica they normally say, well, that person is not a parent, he's a sperm donor. So I mean, it depends on the area that you look at it.
Even if they are, you know what, even if they are, yeah, it came from somebody.
Definitely, most definitely.
So and when our children are growing up, and they're growing up with the mindset, and they hear this all the time. I'm a single parent. I'm a single parent. That sits into their mindset all the time.
Yeah, but the thing is, you know what, Massimo? It doesn't really need to be mentioned because I don't ever remember like saying to anyone, "Oh, I'm a single parent." You know, and that's a funny thing that now you've mentioned it. I looking back, I can't remember me actually like saying to someone, "Oh, I'm a single parent." I've always said, "You know what? I'm a mother." So it's never been a case for me of a single parent.
And the funny, you know what? It's funny you should say that. Yeah?
Yes.
And it's a psychology of thought. I was at a meeting last night. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was men and women there, and everybody had to say what they were and all that, yeah?
Yes.
90% of the women that spoke out said, I'm a single parent of 3 or 2. And I had to ask them, which they got annoyed with me, yeah? What's that got to do with anything?
That's the point that I was going to make earlier, is that people use it as it's like, no, I wouldn't even say it's a stigma. People use it as an excuse. And now for me, I was glad the day when I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, because guess what? It really opened my eyes, because people use it as an excuse to say, oh, I'm a single parent, or I have kids, so I can't do this, or I can't do that. And I actually did a short video that I put on Facebook yesterday called possibility blindness. And that's one of the areas that they use as a possibility blindness to say, I can't achieve this because. Now, I had to look at it differently. And I said to myself, you know what? Because I have my children, I have to. Because I have them, I don't want them to face what I face. I must do it. So it's all about the perspective of how you look at it. What perspective you look at it with. And many women these days look at it as an excuse for them to do nothing. And I have to be very honest, and I have to say that. And there may be a lot of women that may be upset, because I remember speaking to a woman once, and her statement to me was, you don't understand. And I'm saying to her, what is it that I don't understand? Because I'm raising a child that has been labeled with ADHD and autism, running to all the meetings, you know, and I still had my daughter and I still had work. And when I started to tell her, she was like, and you work? And I'm like, yes, I work, because I've made up my mind to be determined to do what I have to do. But if you just take it and say, well, I'm a single parent, so I can't do anything, I have to do the school runs. There's so much that you can do. There's so many possibilities out there, but they use excuses which creates possibility blindness. So they can't see any way out. And that's what I think it is. So I can understand where you're coming from. And as you said, it's not good to keep dwelling on that, because it doesn't really mean anything. There's so many parents that are going out. And I met a lady that's 70 years old and she's writing her first book at the age of 70. You know, so what is it that we can't do? It's only what we tell ourselves we can't do.
You know, one of the things that I try to champion on this station, right? And from my point of view, okay, we have so much wealth and talent within our community.
Definitely.
Within the African Caribbean community in England here, we have our own history in England here that is not being recognized at world level, right?
At all.
And people usually shout me down, because when they start quoting books to me and quoting people to me, I dismiss them from 2 points of view. Okay, I ban people from like Tim Robbins and all them people there. I ban them, Les Brands and all that. Ban them from people talking about them. Yeah, I say go up and down the country, find out who are motivational speakers here. Let us promote them, because they do great works.
It's true. They
do phenomenal things. You know, you know, and not even so myself. I've got 3-4 books out myself, right?
I see.
Motivational books. I don't push it as hard as they do out there, right? But everything that we do, there's guys up and down the country that do phenomenal works, that have written really good motivational books that would be so inspiring and that would be so informative. And also, they've written books that are relevant to us here in the UK.
That's the thing, though, Master Mo. Not everyone is like you. People tend to want to follow the name that is already out there. And that's why it's so much more difficult for us. And that's why we have to be pushing so much more harder. And that's why a lot of youths don't even bother trying, because as they look at it, they're like, well, so many other people are doing it, but they're not getting recognized for it. And that's why I'm going to keep on going, because already I can see, like, I have conversations with my daughter because I love hearing her opinion. She's just turned 15, and I like to hear her opinion on things. And she normally gives back that feedback, to like say, Mom, but you've been trying so hard and this, that. But that's why I keep going, because I need to let her know.
How is she? She at school now? She on the way to school?
Yes, she's gone to school. And the thing is, I have to keep pushing, because I need her to realize that, look, life is not about giving up. And it's not about saying that, you know what, I'm not getting recognized now, so I must just give up. I'm like, no, she needs to see that this is happening. And that's why I keep going. And when she asks me, I tell her the truth. I said, I'm keep going because I need to create that pathway for you to know that there's possibility. You can do it. And as you rightly said, so many people, they're more on a trip of, okay, those people are already there, so those are the people that I need to look for. Then you have another set of people that they don't do what's called unity. And that's one of the greatest crashes for us in this country. So many people want to be on their own bandwagon. You know, I was speaking to somebody, you basically, I just spoke to you briefly this morning, and already I spoke to another lady, and I said, you know what, I'm going to ask permission from you later on to find out if she can come on your show and advertise what she's doing, because what I think she's doing is amazing. Now, not many people would do that because they look at it as a competition, but it's not, because how are we going to grow? If we keep pulling down each other, we're not going to grow, you know?
You know what? There's, you know, one of the things that sometimes people find it upsetting. I mean, we had this radio station here, yeah? Mm-hmm. And every time I'm on the radio and I'm on air and all the other presenters, yeah, I tell them to salute all the radio stations out there who are doing great works, who are doing work for our community, because we need to let people know there's a unity. We need to start unifying ourselves.
Definitely.
In strength, in togetherness, we are stronger. I keep telling people, I had this question asked to me, 2 days ago and last night. and I just get tired of answering it, yeah?
Yes.
Because, you know the usual thing when they say you're on radio, what's your station name? Oh, who's your competition?
You don't have any.
They ask me that. So I tell them, did I ever tell you I was in a race?
Yeah.
That I need to compete?
No.
I said, I don't have any competition. I said, and they go, are you so arrogant? I said, no, we don't have any competition.
It's not about arrogance. It's not about arrogance.
And that's what I said to me. I said, I don't have any competition. I said, we've all got a journey.
Exactly.
And we can all sit on that journey together.
We all have something unique about us.
And I listen to other radio station shows. They listen to mine. We all listen to each other. Because sometimes somebody does. I know presenters that are in other stations who are absolutely phenomenal.
Exactly.
Would I want them to come to mine? Yes, I would. Would I really have that? No, because they're comfortable where they are.
Exactly.
And they're doing great works, and I applaud them for that. They're even good friends of mine. But, because people don't start understanding it's a journey we all take together.
It definitely is. And
not a selfish journey that you grab everything.
One of the things that I normally say.
Parable, right?
Yes.
I give this parable. A white man and a black man have a shop side by side. Mm-hmm. The black man is going to spend all his efforts trying to make his shop good. The white man's going to spend all his efforts trying to take the black man's shop.
Yes.
And I said, so when we have another black man's shop beside us, let's don't follow the white man. Let's follow us as black men. Let's try and make our shops good together.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Because when you look down the road, and I use the life experience as a barometer of how we should behave. Mm-hmm. You will see Indian shops side by side, Dallas chicken, this chicken, that chicken, whatever chicken.
That's my point, Master Mo. That's my point, because for them it's not a competition. That's my point. And this is what I talk about every day, because it's people are in a rat race and they're not realizing that rat race is not going anywhere. And that's why I always say, listen, and I tell my kids the same thing, compare yourself to yourself, because the day you start comparing yourself to someone else, you are going to fail, because you will constantly be on a journey of trying to be somebody that you are not. You understand? And that's what many people do. Be unique. There's something unique about you. Strengthen your uniqueness. And that's what many people need to do. But they're so busy. The women out there, they want to be Beyonce. They want to be Rihanna. This person wants to be Jay-Z. And you're not being you. And they would realize that if they were being themselves, the strength that is within them would be amazing. But so many people are on this journey of trying to be who they're not. And that's where they miss out.
So, let's talk a little bit, about your journey.
Yes.
Because I love your journey,
Thank you.
I was so glad when you came into the station that, one cold morning.
Oh, gosh. You know what, Master, I sit back sometimes and I look. And I know I'm not there yet, as many people say. And I think sometimes I say to myself, people always say to me, you know what, you don't give yourself enough credit. But and it's not that I don't give myself enough credit. When you've had in your head the amount of people that you want to help and you want to reach out, I'll keep saying to people, I've not reached there yet. So that's why I'm saying that. I'm not saying I've not got there because of financial gain or anything like that. I know in my heart the people that I want to reach, the people that I want to help. And that's why I always say to myself, I have not reached yet. Because in the moment I tell myself I've reached there, I'm going to end up maybe not helping as much people that I could help. So when I look back at my journey, I'm amazed at how far I've come, because going back to 2004, 2005, I was in a very dark place. And when I tell my story, many people don't believe me, that I was at the point where I nearly took my life. And it was a very selfish thought. It was a very selfish moment. But what I normally say to people is that people can end up getting knocked in a position where they can't see any light at the end of the tunnel. Because for me, people will say, but you had your kids, you had this, you had that. But I was going through so much at that time. I just thought, you know what, even for my kids right now, I'm of no use to them. So they're better off without me. And that's what I want to save many women from. Men as well. But obviously, because I've lived that journey, obviously as a woman, I know that I will have that empowerment for women. I've been through domestic abuse to the point where I just thought all self-confidence, well, I didn't think, I know for a fact, all self-confidence was gone. And you know what? In some ways, I think having my son kind of pushed that strength back in me, because society gave up on him. And I realized that, you know what, I had to be strong. I said, in order for me to help my son, I need to be strong. And I think that's what kind of helped kick me back into shape, to realize that, hold on, you have a child that society is giving up on. So if you don't fight for him, who is going to? And the tear that came to my eye is on Mother's Day. He wrote in a card and he said to me, Mom, I want to thank you, because he's 12. And he said, Mom, I want to thank you for not giving up on me, for believing in me even when nobody else has. And that for me is something beyond words. Believe me, it's something. And I walk with that card in my bag everywhere, because it just reminds me that, you know what, you have to just keep doing what you're doing, keep helping people. So I've been out there and I've just been giving out my book, helping people. And I have women calling me mastermind, women that have been in an abusive relationship for 20 years. And they can't speak to anybody. And they've opened up to me. And I'm thinking, wow, you don't know me, But because of what I've put out there, because I've spoken out, you can now find someone to confide in and speak to. And that's my aim. Because there are many people out there, they're suffering. They don't trust anyone to turn to anyone. The first thing that is in your head when you're in that position is that you're on your own. Nobody understands. That's the first thing. You never ever think about the fact that other people have gone through it. For some reason, you just feel so alone, and you feel like you're the only one on this journey. And that's what I don't want, because when you are in that position, that's when all the negative things start speaking to you, man. And it really can put you in a dark place. So I just pray that by speaking out, by talking to people, I can just reach and touch as many people as I possibly can. And that's my journey, and sometimes I feel like I'm still just starting, because I still have a long way to go.
Well, long may that journey continue, and long may we, look to do, good works up and down the country.
Yeah, definitely.
And lots of times on our website, we have a book review show where all the authors that we interview on the station, their books go in there.
Yeah, I saw that. That's absolutely beautiful, Master Mo. Very, very good job on that. It's absolutely amazing. It's lovely.
And we always encourage everybody to go in there and start doing something new in your life, or redo it again. Read a book a month. If you get a month to read one book, that's good enough.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that should be everyone's aim.
So read a book a month. Go in there. Purchase one of those books in there and go through the whole range of the books in there. Read a book a month, and that would be an absolute amazing thing to start your year. You're into the third month now.
Yeah.
And we have some amazing books already in that little section. Some amazing books, amazing books. So we need to get everybody going in there, reading some of the books, because we're going to update the books there. We need to get some more pictures of people, in and around. So next time you're out doing your talks and so forth, please send us some of your pictures.
Will do.
Please send us some pictures, because people are very visual.
Yeah, it's true.
They like visual representation.
Yes.
Right. So send us some of the pictures of what you're doing. So this goes up and down the country. This goes around the world. So people will see that it's come from England.
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
What we're doing. We are up to plenty good. We're doing great things, because it's, again, when we talk about the promotions and the publicity, a lot of people now are getting a massive attention from America, because they're seeing things happen here.
Yeah.
They're seeing things happen here. They come in for their rich pickings. And, they come in to look at people like yourself, who are doing phenomenal things, inspirational talks, motivational talks, and realize that it's not just the bastion of America that does all those things,
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm gonna leave people with this, right? I'm gonna challenge people, right? Yeah. Because I love to give away prizes. Yeah.
Yes.
I love to give away prizes, right? And I want people to tell me to name me 5 motivational speakers, female, 5 motivational speakers, men, who are UK based.
Wow, that's a lovely challenge.
Yes, 5 males and 5 females who are UK based, right? And the first person that texts, tweets, or emails, we'll give them a goodie prize, right? And one of those prizes will involve one of the books from our book club, from our book review site.
Awesome.
Yeah, one of the prizes will be one of those, and they'll get to choose. Yeah, so we're going to update that as well, add some more books in there that we've done, and they'll get to choose one of them. And also we'll give them a call as well to let them know what is happening in and around the book sites and the motivational speaking sites, because to give people a helping hand, right? In the station alone, in Powerxtra station alone, we have 7 people who do motivational speaking.
Wow.
And who are life skill coaches as well.
See, that's amazing. Okay. That's amazing. That's amazing. You got some amazing stuff going on, Master Mo.
7 of them are motivational speakers.
Wow.
And to make it even easier for you guys, right? Yeah, I am filling in for one of them right now. I am filling in for one of them right now. So how can I make that any more
easier?
And to make it even easier, just in case you didn't get the name, I'm talking to a person right now who's an amazing motivational speaker. And just add, just in case you didn't realize, she's also based in England.
Oh, you giving away all the answers today, Master Mo.
Yeah, well, we love giving prizes here on Powerxtra Radio. Yeah.
Oh gosh, awesome.
And so, we want people to think. Now, I have some questions for you. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So this is the Master Mo fun side, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have a quick think, right? Of who would you like to have dinner with, past, present, or dead? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Who would you like to cook for you? And who would you like to sing for you while you're having dinner?
Wow. Well, funny you said past, present, or dead. You know what? I would have loved to have had Whitney Houston sing for me. And one of that reason is I just strongly believe that if she had more people like us around, maybe she would have been able to still be here with us today.
Very true.
Yeah, because people like that, they normally just have the energy drainers around them, to be honest.
Oh my gosh. We need to start talking about that. That's number one, yeah? Okay, Whitney Houston.
Yes, Whitney Houston. What was the other one? Someone to...
Who would cook for you.
Who would cook for me.
Who would cook for you, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And who'd you like to have dinner with?
Okay, great. The person that I would love, to cook for me, you know what? It's going to be strange. Maybe a lot of people wouldn't even know of her. Is the great Louise Bennett. She was a Jamaican poet. Reason being, she knows from her poems, don't get me wrong, I don't know if she can cook, but from her poems, she knew the real traditional back home recipes.
Well, you know what? Let's give her a big hand. What's her name again?
Louise Bennett. Yeah, she was a great poet. So I grew up learning her poetry. So she just stood out in my mind. In regards to having a meal with, oh my God, that's a massive one. It's a struggle. I grew up loving music, so it's a challenge. So it's at the moment, I'm going to be very honest, it's between two people. One, I know that you said you've banned people from speaking about.
It's all right, you can talk about it.
But I will tell you the reason why. So it's between Stevie Wonder or Les Brown. And the reason why I say Les Brown, from his story, I got a lot of help to gather strength for my son. Because if you know his story about how he was rejected, he didn't really have much education, and people always put him down for that reason. And it really encouraged me for my son. Because I always say to my son, you know what? This guy, they used to call him a dumb twin. And you know what? Look at him now. You know, he's proud to say it. He doesn't have any degrees, doesn't have anything like that. But it didn't stop him from getting him to where he wants to be. Because my son was at a point where he just believed that he wouldn't achieve anything. Because that's what they kept telling him. Oh, you're a special boy. Because of that, you have to stay with this group. You know, you have to be in a nurture group. You have to be this. You have to be that. And it just made him adapt that feeling that when I said to him, you know what, come and read a book with me. I can't read. They said that I can't read. You know, and that's the reason why. So those are the three people.
Okay. Well, that's a good choice. That's a really good choice. You know, and so many people have asked this question too. Yeah. Yes. And for hundreds and hundreds of people, and I'm always surprised. Yeah. Pleasantly pleased all the time. Yeah. When people give me their answers and their reasons for their answers, which is kind of inspiring to other people outside. It kind of opens, you know, because your three people now, has inspired me to look up, Louise Bennett.
Yeah, Louise Bennett. Yeah, she was a Jamaican poet. She was awesome. You know, I grew up. I loved poetry. I loved drama. I loved acting, and so she always resonated with me. I just loved her. You know,
Yes.
so there was always a fun side to her.
So I'm looking her up now. So I'm going to do a little feature on Louise Bennett on the show. Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. That's how we educate each other.
Yeah, it's true.
You know, and I'm going to educate all my listeners now on Louise Bennett.
Great. Yeah.
Because that's an important facet. And by the looks of it, she's had an amazing life.
Yeah, she has. And you know what? She's never, and what I love about her, and I do that in a lot of my presentations, and people are like, wow, she had that fun side to her despite all of her challenges. And I do that. And people always say, but you're speaking about something that's so painful. But yet you look at on the front side, and I'm like, well, guess what? I've overcome it. So why am I going to be sad? I've overcome.
Yes. And that's the important side.
Yeah.
You know, the moving on. Now, you mentioned something earlier, okay?
Yes.
That we need to pick up and talk about, you know, openly. And I think we need to educate our children of this syndrome.
Yes.
Openly, right? The energy drainers.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Don't start off with the oh boy.
Because you know what? It's a massive topic. It's a massive topic.
Okay. You know, and inevitably, what we need to do, yeah. And I'm going to put something to you.
Yes.
Which I don't generally put to people, right?
Yes.
Yeah? You kind of gravitated that salt in to my wound. Yeah.
Yes.
You're making me go ouch. Okay. Okay. We need to sit together. Okay.
Yes.
And I always say to people, we need to do some collaboration, and we need to write a short pamphlet, a short booklet.
Okay.
That will take literally under a week. We need to write. You know, it doesn't have to be anything more than 10 pages.
Yep, that's fine.
We need to sit together, yeah.
Yes.
And write a short booklet on in terms of inspiring our next generation.
Definitely.
And you know, when we look at it, we can work a title up later on. Yeah.
Yes.
But we put together, all right? Because I've got one out already like that. It's called 20 Life Skills. Yeah?
Okay.
That's my first ever book that I wrote.
Wow. I need to read that one then, Master Mo. Come on.
All right. And so we need to put together something similar to that, yeah, for our children, right? In the blueprint journey of behavior of life.
Definitely.
And all these things that we have as wisdom.
I'm telling you, they need it, Massimo. It's like you were hearing me speak. You know what? I'm actually meeting. No, seriously, I'm actually meeting with someone today. Another powerful woman. You know her, Sabrina Ben Salmi. And I'm actually meeting with her today because, you know, we sat down the other day and we were looking and we were saying to ourselves, but you know what? There's nothing really actually out there for our children. Nothing to motivate. No. There is no avenue out there for them except listening to negative music, reading negative stuff. There's nothing. And
you know what would be powerful? We within our own community have written that as a blueprint for them. You know why it's important? And it's something I talk about at this station all the time. And a lot of presenters talk about it, yeah?
Yes.
The legacy of change and the legacy, you know?
Definitely.
Of empowerment. We don't have a legacy. We don't have, you know, I blame my grandparents and I blame my parents to a massive extent. And people always tell me I am so bad, yeah?
Yes. I want to know why. Because
they have more experience in England here, the over 60s. They have more experience gathered together within themselves than there is any kind of encyclopedias around the world.
Yes, but they didn't put it in writing.
They didn't put it in writing, and they're not passing it on.
They're not. But you know, the thing is,
and then it's like, you know, we're doing this thing on this station, right? Yeah, called Voice from the Veranda.
Wow.
Right? We're doing this on the station, and we want to interview the over 60s about their life, their stories, their challenges, so we can catalogue it as a legacy for the children to come, for the children to understand, for a history lesson for our children. Yeah?
Yes.
And a lot of them don't want to talk.
But you have to remember, you know what, Massimo? One, a lot of them didn't get... I know that shouldn't be, as I said, it shouldn't be a barrier, but we have to be realistic. A lot of them feel, well, insecure, intimidated, one, because they didn't have the education that they desired. But you know what? Someone that I know, most of his knowledge came from his mom, despite the mom not knowing how to read or write.
You know what I tell people, yeah? Mm-hmm. There's two things that people confuse,
yes.
Right? Information and education.
Exactly.
Yeah? And they're misunderstanding information.
And they're not realizing that information is actually more important. Because you know what? Information, I'm looking at like my life now. And my grandmother never picked up a book and sat down with me and read bedtime stories or none of that. She didn't have that. She didn't have that education. But you know what? She grew up, and I grew up seeing her as a businesswoman. I grew up learning all the skills that I know now that many kids, not even kids, many women in the society don't have, which is amazing. You know what? I saw somebody cleaning the other day, and I sat and I was in awe, and I'm like, I can't. It might be little, but it's a big thing. Because I'm looking and I'm saying, if I was doing that cleaning in the presence of my grandmother, she would send me back again to do it. And this was a woman that was doing it. You understand what I'm saying? So they tend to, what would we say, degrade that information because it's not coming from somebody of intellectual height. They degrade it. They don't look at it as anything. But as you rightly said, those little nuggets are the ones, little nuggets are the ones that have shaped and molded people like you and I. Yes.
And it's almost like my mother, yeah? And I'm trying to get her. So let me not say to people, I'm bashing everybody else. I've tried to get my mother to do a talk.
Yes.
A 60-minute talk, right? Mm-hmm. Okay? My mother, as a young woman, right?
Yes.
Had already bought 4 or 5 houses in England while she was back in Sierra Leone.
Do you see what I'm talking about, Master Mo? Oh gosh, do you see what I'm talking about?
I remember sitting on the bed when I was probably about 5, if that, yeah? Counting money, counting pound notes, yeah? To make £3,500 to buy her first house. I remember counting that.
Wow.
And she used to say to me, I'm giving it to you to count because you're good at maths.
Wow.
And you don't make mistakes.
Wow.
And she's gone on to be a phenomenal businesswoman right till she's in her 80s now.
Right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And that's a journey of story that our young children need to have.
Yeah.
Could you imagine this, right? Yeah? And let me put this out to all the households up and down the country, whether you be white, black, pink, or blue. I really don't care. Up and down the country, white, black, pink, or blue. You have a volume of 100 stories from African Caribbeans of their journey in England. Mm-hmm. What they've had to put up with, what they've had to go through, how they've had to overcome. Do we need, after listening to 100 of them, right, to be quite honest, right, do we need a Les Brown or a Tony Robbins or any one of them? Because they're all in there.
But you know what, Master Mo, the challenge is, that's what I'm saying to you, they're not given that value, and that's why many people don't listen. I grew up having a lot of wisdom because I grew up with my grandparents, so I was around most of their friends, which was close to their age. So I grew up with that wisdom from young. I grew up having that tendency about me. Now it's the same thing me and my husband was speaking about this morning. That's why I'm just laughing as we're going along, because I was looking at that young man and I was saying to myself, our ancestors, they have fought for us to have and enjoy a lot of what we're enjoying now, and they have grown up, and instead of building on that, they're tearing it down.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and I was gonna say that because many of them don't know their history. You know, I have a cousin. He's a young guy. He's 17. But let me tell you something. I'm gonna let you meet him one day, Master Mo, because this boy, he is like a history book. He sits down and he watches documentaries upon documentaries. So he is that type of child that is intrigued by his history. And he knows sports, like the things that he knows. And I'm looking at him and I'm like, how old are you? You know, but how many youths do you find today that are even interested in here now? You may mention the name Martin Luther King, Dr. Martin Luther King, and they're going to ask you, who is that? And it's not a joke. They will ask you, who are you talking about? They've never listened to one of his speeches. They don't even know who he is.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
The funny thing is, I was on the bus the other day, and I was listening to 3 young boys, young teenagers having their chat,
Yes.
For one, I found it very difficult to understand what they were saying. Right? I really found it very, very difficult to understand what they were saying. But it got into music, and they were talking about who's the best, who's the best, who's the this, who's the that. Yeah? So I said to them, you know, do you know Nina Simone?
Wow.
And that didn't come to their mind. No Nina Simone. I said, do you know Nat King Cole?
Oh gosh, they don't know.
They don't know Nat King Cole. Okay, that's fine. Let's move on. I said, do you know Dizzy Gillespie? What are you talking about? I said, okay, let me come forward. Do you know Anita Baker?
Oh, please. They're not going to know these things. They're not going to know these things.
I
Diana
said,
Ross.
So who do you know then?
Dizzy Rascal.
Who do you know? They know, you know, they're into their Rihanna. They know Beyonce. They know Kim Kardashian. You know, Kanye West, Will.i.am. And I thought to myself, really, really, you guys need to go Google, yeah? I said, Google Motown. Okay? That's what I said to them. Google Motown and take a bit of history and find out where all these people get their little singing from.
But the thing is, Master Mo, that's what I'm saying. The thing is, and that's what I say to my husband sometimes. And I said, you know what? We can't even be too hard on these youths because guess what? Their parents are not directing them that way. I grew up knowing these people because I grew up with my grandparents that played these tunes, that played these music, you know, do you understand? Percy Sledge, all of these people. So I grew up around that environment. These days, the youths are growing up around a total different environment. You know, their parents don't know, don't follow these things themselves. And I'm talking about parents possibly in their 40s. They don't follow these things. So how will you then expect their child to know these things? Luckily for that young guy that I'm talking about, he's grown up seeing his dad following documentaries after documentaries. His dad is that way inclined. So he's now fallen in that direction. But so unless you have a parent or they're around that environment, they're not going to know any better. Okay. And that's why people like us have to continue raising the bar for them to eventually see or hear or find out. Because if not, we're just going to lose them.
Okay, just hold on the line 1 second, okay?
Okay.
I've just got to do this.
You see, in life is a journey. And it's what you do today that determines your tomorrow. But guess what? It's what you did yesterday that determines your today. Obviously, you can't correct your yesterday, but you can correct your here and now. You can correct your today. And that will enforce what the result is going to be tomorrow. So we need to play close attention to that. And that is what a lot of our youths are missing out on, you know. So.
Welcome back, London. Welcome back, the world. And thank you for all the texts. I shall go through them soon enough. And on the line with me, we have Michelle Watson, who we are doing a talk back with. Good morning, Michelle.
Good morning, Master Mo.
Good morning. Did you enjoy,
Yes.
Navina Chanel?
Navina Chanel, yes.
Navina Chanel, yes. This is her breakfast show. And she gives people a steaming cup of positivity bright and early in the morning. Yes. And I'm hoping to do her show justice by doing the same thing, getting people that have that steaming cup of positivity to start our day, you know. And what a wonderful way people have started the day today, yeah. You know, people have just woken up inspired, and thank you so much for spending and taking time out to be with us here on Powerxtra Radio. We are so grateful.
Yes, definitely.
We're so glad to have you here. We're so glad to be talking to you and also spreading the word.
Glad to be
here. In
terms
of our motivational morning. And, you know, thanking you as well for the enormous amount of work that you're doing in the community, as well as within your own nuclear family. You know, they salute you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Now, let's talk about, because we're talking about books. We're talking about legacy, yeah?
Yes.
A lot of people always ask the boring questions, right? When I listen to interviews, right? What inspired you? What all that? I'm not even going to bother with all that, yeah? Because I want to know some nitty-gritty sides, right?
Yes.
Which is more important to people who are going to be writing their books now. Yeah?
Right. Yes.
Okay. What's your skill? How did you fit it in to your daily routine?
Basically, I always loved writing. Growing up with my grandparents in Jamaica, I kind of resorted to writing because being the only young person there, and that's how I kind of expressed my feelings. But as well, I still didn't take it to really be of any use or anything. But anyways, being in the UK, I started to just make notes of stuff and things that were happening. And I remember, to be honest, I really didn't think of doing a book. I was just writing stuff for my own purpose, like a little diary. And I remember it was actually my pastor at church. And that day he was actually preaching about what is in your hands. So like he was basically saying that a lot of people, you have a talent, but because you don't recognize it, you don't make use of it. And he just pulled me out as an example. And he said, you've been through a lot of challenges and people would benefit from hearing about it, but you've never ever thought of writing a book and put it in a book. And he was just saying that while he was preaching, but it was always there. But ever since he said it, he always came back to me. And I said, you know what, I'm going to get up and I'm going to do it. So every day as things would go by, I would be writing stuff down. But you know what, Master? Well, you know when you've told yourself that, you know what, no one's not going to read this book. That is fair. As I said, possibility blindness. That was one of it. Nobody's going to read my book. So I wrote a bit, tuck it away. But as I went along, what struck me was a lady that I actually entered my workplace. And she had a little boy with her about the age of 5 or 6. And he was creating the biggest tantrum. He even kicked her. And I was the one serving her. And I asked my colleague to take over and asked her if it's okay for me to like come out and speak to her son. And she was like, he's not going to speak to you. And I said, can I at least try? And she said, yes. And I went around and, I spoke to him. His name was David. And I told him then, did you know the meaning of David? Do you know who David was? And I just spoke to him and he was like, no, dude. And he was responding. And I said, you know what? Me and you could be very good friends. But guess what? You're going to have to do something for me. And I said, what? Quickly just run and tell your mom sorry and then come back and we'll finish talking. And he went and he told his mom sorry and she broke down into tears. And she said, that has never, ever happened. And I just reached out to her and I just hugged her and I was encouraging her. But the thing she said to me struck me. And she said, you don't understand. So I started telling her my story and telling her about my son. And she was the one when I was speaking about earlier that said, and you work? And I thought, you know what? maybe somebody really does need to hear my story because maybe it can help. So you know what I did, Master Mo? I would always have a little notebook with me. So this is out to anybody that is interested in writing a book. Always have a little notebook with you and a pen. Because things will come to you. There's some thoughts that will just come to you. But by the time you're going to go home and write it down, you won't remember it. And I've found that the most powerful thoughts have come to me in the most unusual places.
Okay. You see, now that is useful information.
Yes.
Right? For me personally, yeah. You know, have a notebook and a pen.
Yeah. Have a notebook wherever you are.
And yes, and you know, something comes to you, just write it down.
Yeah, just write it down.
See, that's important for people out there who want to start writing books, or thinking of writing books, or in the process of writing books, and the direction that they need to go in if they're not sure, right? Because I believe we all have a story to tell. We all have something in us anyway,
Definitely.
Every single person, and it's how we choose to get it out.
Definitely.
You know? I always say to people, you know, unless you're telling a literal story, which is a factual story, yeah? Writers get the best job. They get to lie well. So let your imagination run as wild as you can.
It's wild. It's true.
And be creative as you can.
We have wild imagination. The excuse somebody will say to me is that, oh, but I don't like writing. Come on, they have dictaphones in August for £19 or £20. A little dictaphone. You know, people don't have to realize what you're doing. You can just step aside and just say what it is. Sometimes I'm out there and I hear somebody make a statement and it makes me stop and think. And the thoughts that come from that one statement that person has made, it means a lot. I wrote down stuff and I didn't know what chapters it was going to be in. But I just wrote it down because I would say, you know what, at some point this is going to be useful.
Yeah.
See, so I just wrote stuff and I didn't formulate my chapters. There's something that my publisher says, and I really grab it. And he says, get it down, then get it right. We tend to always want perfection. And because we don't get perfection, we don't start. No, get it down first. Write it down. You can always edit it later on.
That's so true. I like that one.
Yeah.
You know, you people out there, and that's not just for writing, that's in every walk of life.
Yes, it's true.
Get it down and get it right.
Yeah.
Because people spend too much time trying to get it right from the start.
Definitely.
They spend too much time. You know, and they spend so much time in the thinking about it, they spend very little time in the doing it.
It's true.
So let's get it down and get it right. I like that. You see, for me, that's my tip of inspiration for the day. And thank you so much for that. Yeah?
No.
Thank you so much for that.
Yes.
Everybody out there today, all right? From the one and only Michelle Watson, she's telling you, get it down, then get it right.
Definitely.
And if you want to hear more, you want to know more, you want to have a little bit more, okay, go buy her book. Read it, digest it, enjoy it, embrace it, and then use the bits that's relevant to you.
Definitely, because it helps. You know, I always steal as this little line, every little helps.
Yes.
And I realized that it's the little things that come together. Because you know what, Master Mo, I had to cut my book down massively. You know what? Because I was doing all of that little writing, little notes. I didn't realize how much I accumulated.
Yes.
So I actually, because it was my first book, I actually had to cut a lot out.
So what's the second book going to be about?
You know what? There's two. There's two that I need to decide which one is going to be next. The first one, I looked at my life and it was what you were talking about this morning, that many people are saying single parents. But what it was really about was parents in general in the working world. It's not easy. And it's a challenge. And I want my book to be around that. Because you know what? I know the many pains that I've felt when I couldn't go to my daughter's play, or when she used to say to me, Mom, you don't have any time for me. You know, I know those painful times that I've had. And it really does hurt parents. You understand? It does hurt. And it's a challenge. Because you're trying to make a life for them. At that point in time, they don't really see that. They just see you getting up to go to work and it's money.
Okay.
You know,
that's cool.
So for me, I really want to write a book about that, actually, but I've started writing something else, which is covering the pains of people that want to go out and start something, start their journey or start their purpose, because that was a challenge for me. I just think that I didn't have enough belief in myself. I was worried about so many things, the what ifs. What if it doesn't work? What if people think I'm a laughing stock? I don't have that PhD. I don't have, and it's something that I believe will help our youths just the same, because a lot of them, they use the race card a lot to hold themselves back. And that's what my next book is going to be about. You know?
Okay, that's cool.
Action in your purpose.
You know what we're going to do. I think I'm from Powerxtra Radio anyway. I think we want to pilot something like a series of motivational pamphlets. A series of because we have a lot of counselors here. Yeah.
Yes,
and,
definitely.
Very, very adept counselors, and I want a lot of them to write some short booklets.
Yes.
Yeah, on grief counseling, right? Which we need in our society, right? One of the young men here who does In the Black, right?
Okay.
He does he's a financial man, right? He's writing Money Matters. And how to empower ourselves with money. Yeah?
Wow.
How to make money grow and work for you. Yeah,
definitely.
How to put money to work for you. So he's writing a short booklet on that, right? So we want to write at least 10 of those short booklets so people can just take it. Because sometimes people find it very hard to read thick books. We have to embrace reading.
Exactly. Yeah? That's why I did my book that size, because you know what?
We have to embrace reading.
Some people see a thick book, they get turned off.
They get turned off. So we have to embrace it and make it palatable for them. We also do this thing on the show. Yeah? This is from the book review show. Okay? So I'm going to let you have a little think about that, yeah?
Yes.
So you can come back to me at the end.
Definitely.
Reading is better than, yeah? So have a think of what it is. Reading is better than, right?
Okay.
And I'll ask you at the end in about 5 minutes' time.
Okay.
Right? But as we're going on, and let me just tell the listeners that, few things I need to pass on, because bills have to be paid here at Powerxtra. Everybody has, you all can go to the website, www.powerxtraradio.co.uk. Go and have a rummage around the website. There are fantastic things for you guys all to see on that website and add as well. Let us know what you would like to add. We have a Motivate Me page, okay, where we're collecting motivational sayings, motivational tips right across. We want to put about 10,000 on there, okay?
Wow.
So there's a page there already. Go and have it, yeah? Go and have a look at it and tell us which one of the ones that's there already you like, all right, on the Motivational Me page.
Okay, yeah? I guess I need to email you some stuff then.
I like my best one, yeah? My best one is quite funny, yeah? We all deserve morning sex and pancakes. Right.
Oh, good, Master Bo. Why is that your best one?
Why is that my best one? Because it's about the broader sense of life, yeah? Don't just look at it like, say, morning sex and pancakes. We just all deserve more. That's what you're trying to say.
Exactly.
We all just deserve more. And he just encapsulated it like, in the pancakes. They're so simple to make, so simple to have, yeah? And we just don't do the simple things in life.
It's true.
And that's why, there's so many powerful ones, yeah? We're not all just born to pay bills and die.
Exactly.
So there's loads and loads.
Yes, I love my quotes as well. I love motivational quotes. I actually collect them.
I have. Yeah, I mean, we're going to be putting so many up on the website. So if you have some that you really like,
yeah, I have some.
Just make sure you send it to me. Just send it to me and say, put that on the site. Everybody go and have a look at the site, and then just send it to us and say, put that on the site. This is my favorite. Put it on the site.
Great.
Yeah? And let's just put them all on there. People go in and have a look at it. And also on the site, we have an event and seminar.
Okay.
So if anybody's having their events and seminars, just send it to us and we'll put it on there. And we also have a business side. So if you have a business, whatever it is, you want to advertise and stuff like that, we have specific business base. So we've done quite a good amount of things to go into that, you know?
Yeah, definitely. The one I would share with you this morning, though, Master Mo, for the people, is one that I heard, and I really, really grab it. And it says, no one can answer a phone call that was never made.
Oh, I like that one. I love that one.
No one can answer a phone call that was never made.
Oh, they're all ringing out now, you know. You sparked the blood in somebody's ears now. They're on the go. This phone is not going to stop ringing now all day long. Yeah? There we go. We're not going to get it. They're going to be killing us now. Yeah? And we thank you all those people who are trying to get through. We thank you so much for trying to get through. Send us a text. Send us a WhatsApp. That's what I'm telling them. Send us a text, send us a WhatsApp. And that's what happens on the station, you know. Somebody like yourself makes a little buzzword, yeah?
Yes.
And that's it. You've got everybody on the go.
Yeah,
they're on the go.
God,
and we thank you so much. So before we leave you, tell us now, Michelle Watson, author. Michelle Watson, public speaker. Okay? Michelle Watson, just a very nice woman. Yeah?
Never better said, Master Mo. Never better said.
Okay, so Michelle Watson, reading is better than
dying.
Oh, I like that one. We should add that to our list. Yeah?
Yes.
I should send it to our book review presenters, Daniela and Yoshiba.
Yes, and the reason why I said that is because so many people are dying from ignorance and knowledge.
That one is so powerful.
Yes.
Yeah? As my favorite one says, reading can seriously damage your ignorance.
Oh no, I'm gonna steal that. Now I'm gonna steal that.
So listen, it's been an absolute pleasure.
It was amazing to be here.
Absolute pleasure, and we should definitely try and do this again.
Definitely.
Yeah?
Yes.
We should factor it into one of our features, right? Yeah?
Yes.
To have you on, at least one morning of the week, because we do a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yes.
And we can definitely factor you in for an hour with the power presenters, yeah?
Great.
To share with the world the life of Michelle Watson.
Thank you so much, Master Mo, and thank you to all the listeners for listening in.
And please send my regards to Sabrina Belsami.
Will do, definitely will do. Amazing woman.
Absolutely amazing woman. Absolutely. And you know that's her daughter.
Oh, Leshay, she's I call her a source to be reckoned with, my second daughter. Well, I can't say second because I have two girls, but my third daughter. And my eldest does get jealous, but that's how it goes.
Yeah, man. She's my adopted goddaughter.
Okay. Yes. All right.
She's one of our power presenters here as well.
Yes, I do know. Yes, definitely.
Oh, she's doing some great work.
Yeah, she's awesome.
We have a lot of great people out there.
Yeah, we do. Talented.
And let us make sure that we keep it going and we keep the motion of our unity, of our community.